The small town of Willow Creek woke up early each morning. Narrow streets, old wooden houses, and the fresh coffee aroma wafting from the tiny cafe in the square filled the air. Nestled in the foothills of America's Midwest, it felt like a hidden gem where everyone knew each other, rumors spread within a day. But no one asked too many questions. That is, until that document surfaced. Emma Carter, 34 years old, always tied her long brown hair into a tight bun and stepped into the town's only law office each morning wearing a simple yet elegant jacket. Those who knew her recognized her calm demeanor and unwavering pursuit of justice. Born and raised in Willow Creek, her family was among the town's old clans, but Emma never relied on status. Returning after law school with hopes of righting the town's wrongs, she had handled small cases, land disputes, inheritance quarrels, everything that crossed her desk. But this time, things were different. That morning, Emma was sifting through a pile of old case files in her office. It was a case about a farmer whose land had been unjustly taken. The man had come to her in tears, saying, "The people behind this are powerful, Emma. No one dares to stand up to them." Amid the files, she found an envelope, dusty and worn, with no name or date on it. Inside was a document that seemed at first like an innocent piece of paper, a land sale contract. But between the lines, Emma noticed something she couldn't ignore. The signatures were forged, and more importantly, the land's new owner was listed as the Grayson family, one of the town's wealthiest clans. Emma's heart raced. The Grayson family had ruled Willow Creek for years, a force that everyone feared. The family patriarch, Thomas Grayson, had close ties with the town's mayor, and rumors swirled about his involvement in shady dealings. But this document, it wasn't just an injustice. It hinted at a conspiracy. Emma leaned back in her chair, took a deep breath, and murmured, "This could change everything." Yet a question lingered in her mind. Was finding this document a coincidence, or had someone left it for her to uncover the truth? That day, Emma continued studying the file. There was no trace of where the proceeds from the land sale had gone. But one name caught her eye. Naranjo. Oscar Naranjo, a well-known figure in Colombia, a former police chief legendary for his fight against corruption. Emma's mind reeled. What was this name doing here? Perhaps this document pointed to an international connection. She picked up her pen and began taking notes. Just then, a knock came at the office door. It was the town's mail carrier. "Emma, this came for you," he said, placing an envelope on her desk. It bore only her name, Emma Carter, with no sender listed. Emma opened it. Inside was a single sheet of paper. "Forget this document, or you'll pay the price." Her pen slipped from her hand. Her heart pounded. Was this a warning or a threat? She glanced out the window. The town looked peaceful, but everything felt different now. She placed the document back on her desk and took a deep breath. "They've made me the prey," she whispered. But this lawyer had no intention of giving up. She was determined to fight for justice. But where would this battle lead her? From that day on, Emma dedicated every moment to understanding the document. She locked her office and worked late into the night. She compared the forged signatures, attempted ink analyses. But the real question was, who had delivered it to her? The mail carrier said he'd received it from a stranger whose face he couldn't describe. Emma began visiting the town cafe, listening to gossip. There, an old farmer whispered, "The Graysons always pull these stunts, but no one ever finds proof." This gave Emma a lead. A week later, Emma went to the town archives to review municipal records. She found more documents related to the land sale, all bearing the Grayson name. But one mentioned Oscar Naranjo again. She searched his name online and found an old interview where he'd highlighted international corruption networks. Could this document tie the Graysons to overseas partners? She jotted down "international conspiracy" in her notes. Then she heard a creak in the archive room. Glancing at the door, she saw no one. Was she being watched again? The next day, Emma arrived at her office to find it ransacked. The document was gone. Panicked, she searched frantically when a text message pinged on her phone. "Last warning. Stay silent." Her hands trembled. These threats only fueled her resolve. That night, she secretly visited the farmer's home. Terrified, he said, "The Graysons buy land cheap, then sell it to a big company. I don't know the details." Emma decided to pursue this clue. For a week, she scoured old newspapers. She found a 2015 article about the Grayson family partnering with a mining company, Blackstone Mining. Online research revealed Blackstone had been accused of illegal mining. Perhaps this was the document's secret. Emma scheduled a meeting with Blackstone's Willow Creek representative. But an hour before, her car broke down, suspiciously, with a slashed tire. Walking, she noticed a black SUV slow beside her. She couldn't see the faces inside, but her heart raced. Back home, Emma made a decision. She couldn't solve this alone. She called an old friend, Mark Larson, a former journalist. "This could be a big story, but be careful," Mark warned. Together, they made copies of the document and hid them safely. Mark suggested contacting Naranjo. Days later, he texted. Naranjo responded, "He'll call you." Emma felt a mix of excitement and dread. That night, her phone rang with an unknown number. The voice was deep and authoritative. "Emma Carter, this is Oscar Naranjo. I've seen your document. It may be part of a network I've tracked for years. But watch your back. They're watching you." The call ended. Emma wrote, "Naranjo knows me," in her notes. It was both hope and a greater danger. The next day, Emma and Mark met Naranjo at a hotel via video call. "Blackstone is linked to corruption networks in South America," he said. "The Graysons buy land cheap and sell to the mining company. But it's not just about money. It's about power. Your document is a link in this chain." Naranjo sent Emma a file with Grayson's correspondence with the mayor, bribes and threats. Emma resolved to present it in court. On the court day, the room was packed. Thomas Grayson sat with a smug smile. Emma submitted the document and Naranjo's file. The judge reviewed them. But as the verdict neared, the lights went out. Chaos erupted. Emma lost sight of Mark. Outside, she saw the black SUV again. A voice said, "You didn't destroy the documents," and a gun was drawn. Emma ran, but a bullet grazed her wrist. Falling, she hid Naranjo's spare USB in a trash can. Police arrived, finding Emma injured. She handed over the USB. A week later, the court convicted the Grayson family. Thomas was jailed, though the full network remained unsolved. In the hospital, Emma received a message from Naranjo. "Good work, but this war isn't over." She looked out the window. Willow Creek was changing. Justice had come slowly, but the lawyer was still being hunted.